Okay, so we've got Paul starting with us today. So last week I talked a little bit about watercolour and gouache. So that was the quick demo I did last week, part of the morning, part afternoon. So gouache and watercolour, well, it's watercolour with white opaque watercolour added in, which is called gouache. So for me, it's a little bit easier than watercolours and a bit more the way I tend to paint naturally, which is using our edge. I thought it'd be a good thing to cover just because it's a lighter weight medium, particularly because some people are coming outside with me or going on holiday trips and things like that. And it might be it might be more suitable for some circumstances. And I find I can paint a bit quicker with this sort of thing. So that's the demo last week. I'm going to stick with that as a medium, but also start, I thought I'd just do a little drawing demo today. Moving into kind of buildings and urban scenes. So these photos are really, this painting I started a couple of weeks ago in Cork. So it's really this end section that's in the photos and that kind of blown up a little bit. So I thought I'd use that as a demo, but actually having used this for a couple of sessions, it is quite complicated. So I might do a slightly simpler version and then you can apply it to that. So with that in mind, I thought maybe this photo of the crooked billet, you can just see that. I'll use that as my example. And start again. So one of the things that I've noticed when people are painting or drawing buildings, some people struggle a little bit with the perspective and the idea of perspective.
Me.
Good. So it doesn't need to be that difficult. One of the main things to think about is that if something's close to you, it appears bigger, larger, longer. And if something's further away, it will then be smaller or shorter. So if we were drawing or painting a building like this, this corner here will appear longer than, say, the corner at the back here. Okay, so if I was going to draw something like that, I will start here. So that could be that front edge there, and then the back edge, I'm guessing about, that might appear that length. Okay. So for that to work, obviously when you're popping in the ground level and the guttering level, they will be at an angle. So we know that with buildings, the floors will be horizontal, or the roofing will all be horizontal. But how it actually appears in perspective is that these will be angled. You'll be seeing angles. So I just thought this might be an easier way to think about it. And then the same sort of thing applies with the roof. So this edge here of the roof, I'll pop that in like that. That is going to, because that's closer to us than this edge, well that complicates matters a bit. I'll just ignore that for a minute. But this edge here, maybe I'll just ignore that part and just simplify the building and do it like that. That would be shorter than this one. And so, because we've already got an angle here, the next angle is going to get even steeper. So I just need to stand here to draw that. Yeah. So, in effect, you have this kind of fanning out of all these angles. So I thought that might be an easier way to think about it. And then when it comes to drawing in windows and other features, where my eye level is in the scene, I think my eye level is about here, perhaps. So you could basically the thing about the eye level, where your eye level is that everything would appear horizontal on that level. You're right. Do you want to come? Yeah. Is anybody else parked on the ramp?
I'm parked behind.
Yeah, so you might need to lay him out. He might come back. Yeah. Right. So say something like if I'm drawing, say, this window here, it might be that that's probably my eye level. Some of the window, at the bottom of the window, will be at a little bit of an angle. It won't be quite as steep as this, so it'll be a little bit of an angle. And then the top of the window will be going the other way, sort of that sort of angle. Yeah, so everything that you're drawing on this front face is going to sort of fan out between these two angles. So that could be the windows there, and the same sort of thing for the door, perhaps be about there. This top window, they can sort of align. So the top of the window might be something like that angle, and then the bottom sill, something like that. So it's, as long as you've got slightly different angles throughout, it should look fairly convincing. So I'll make that a little bit narrower. The other thing is, because we're, like if we're seeing this, do something about this. If we sort of face onto the building, yeah, it might be something like that, and we would see like maybe a door there, a window there, and that would be the full length of the building. Now, because we're seeing some of this end and some of this side, this sort of all gets compressed or foreshortened. So all these windows will appear narrower than if we were seeing them sort of square on, like that. So the thing to do is, on any of these, is just trying to have a look at how wide that appears compared to the height. And the same with this. That probably wants to be a bit shorter and this a bit longer. Does that make sense?
Did you use the vanishing point? Because it's easy for some if they don't.
Yeah.
Is that you've done the horizon line there, haven't you? And
yeah. So that's your eye level. So what happens if you carried these lines on? They would. I mean, it's probably in most instances it's going to be off the paper somewhere, but you would get what they call a vanishing point.
It's easy with a ruler. You could just push it up and down. You know, you get.
Yeah. Sometimes I've got the extra long straight edges somewhere. Yeah, so you could use a bit of straight edge. So it might be sort of back here somewhere. These would all kind of converge on a point. So they will come out.
So Paul, the angle on the top is going down, the angle at the bottom is going up.
Yep.
But where you see the doors and the windows, is that almost horizontal or is that at an angle as well?
Somewhere. Well, it may be. If you had, if we had a window here, the bottom of the window there, if this was our eye level. So if you're looking at a photograph, it's difficult to see on this one, but if say you had all these little bits of shiplap on the side, or weatherboarding, if you had weatherboarding on this side as well, or sort of like courses of bricks, something like that, you might find a point where there's like a horizontal line here, and then you could carry that horizontal line on over the other side, and that would be your eye level. And then where they're kind of going up this side, they're going up the other way on the other side, or down, sort of down that way. So that's a way of working out where the eye level is on a drawing, on a photograph, something like that. So you basically, anything that, so I was sort of thinking here, these window bars here, to me look maybe eye level, or they're slightly higher. It's difficult to judge, but that to me appears to be about the eye level on that photo, from what I can gather on that. Yeah, so anything on the eye level will be horizontal. So it could be, say, if there's a door there, might be the top of the door's horizontal there, or the bottom of the window here might be horizontal. Yeah, or say if you had like weatherboarding. So on this side, the opposite will happen in terms of the angles will go up that way, and they'll go down that way. Does it all make sense? You might know it already, but hopefully some of you. So that's that. What's the other thing I was going to say? So, and the same would happen here to here. So to get the upper bit of this triangle. So if you've got an angle like that, and then you did that, and we do this. So to try and get that point there, an easy way to do it is to draw that side in and then just get across like that, and that can go up there, and then you should then be able to go from there to there, from there to there. And that seems to give, you know, the right appearance to.
And the chimneys will get smaller as they go along.
Yeah, they would get smaller. Yeah. So I've had, and again, we've got to take the angle between these bits. So they would, that might be the sort of angle at the tops of the chimneys. So we've got a couple of chimneys here. These are quite interesting shaped chimneys, these ones, so I'm not going to try and copy those because they're quite difficult. If I did a conventional chimney, that would be the bottom of it, and maybe it would be that wide. It will come up with the slope of the roof, and then you'd have the opposite angle here, going back to that vanishing point, and then this side would come back to this vanishing point. So it's basically, you know, if you look at anything with a front corner, you know, if one side's going up, the other side's got to go down. Or the same for the bottom, if one side's sort of going down, the other side's got to go up. And it might, yeah.
How did you know that angle was towards the left side of the top of the chimney?
This.
Yeah.
I just guessed it, but maybe that's a bit too much. That's, yeah, probably, it basically needs to be steeper than that.
Right, yeah.
So I'm thinking, yeah, perhaps, yeah, it's probably a bit too steep, but yeah, if you imagine it.
Fanning, yeah,
There'd be like another vanishing point here, and they would fan out from there.
Yeah.
Now you might have one building where you're seeing maybe a lot of one side like that. Can you see that all right from where you are? And then the other side might be much steeper angles here, and sort of shallower angles here. But you have, it'll still be like, you know, that one's going down that side, so it goes steeply up that side. This one goes gently up that side and then steeply down the other side. So it's then, if you then wanted to apply it to something really complicated like a street scene, which was that, I've got various kind of photos here with street scenes and things like that. What I tend to do when I'm drawing these sort of things, let's find the other one. That one's a bit better lighting. If I'm drawing that sort of thing, I tend to just start with these small shapes at the back here, and then just gradually work my way across. So in this instance, you can just about see in one of the photos, so there's a rooftop there, and I drew the end of that little bit, and then moved on to here, and I'm looking at, you know, how high that chimney is compared to this one, the slope of this, where that comes, and then that guttering level is there, this one's here, then this one drops down a bit. So it's basically kind of scanning across, you know, left to right, also scanning up and down. Things like looking at, say, where that chimney is in relation, say these, when I was just sketching in these windows here, which are these ones, I was looking at where they line up with that chimney. So you can kind of, you know, see how things align vertically as well as horizontally. Obviously that's much more complicated, but I would suggest I think a lot of people are more inclined to start with the bigger shapes, but I find it easier to start with smaller shapes and work across if you want to take on something like that. Is that enough? Yeah. Okay, so does anybody want to ask anything? Does that make sense? Yeah, go on.
So it'd be like, you know the last picture you had across?
Yeah.
What can you tell again what that would do?
Yeah, that is to just to find the middle of that shape.
Oh, the middle one.
Yeah. So you could, I mean, you could with the square, you can find the middle of the square just doing that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of doing the same sort of thing, visually find the middle. If I measured, say, from here to here and halved it, it would probably come out about there. So if you made that there, it wouldn't look quite right. So to make it look visually right, if you do that and then take that line up there, that should give you
Oh, I see.
the point at which that.
Yeah.
But quite a useful little tip for finding those.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
But a lot of these things, it's just sort of having it in the back of your mind and then
Yeah.
just relying on the observation. Okay, right, good.